What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Resistance. Follow up on the Burnsville, Minnesota shooting, officer-involved shooting, ex-police officer. There was a carjacking involved with an ex-police officer. The suspect tried to carjack an ex-police officer, ladies and gentlemen. That suspect has been killed.
And it is starting to. She said that she wanted to protect the police. She led with, if you may recall, something to the degree of pretty much the that guy deserved to die. Yeah. When she said that shit, she said that she said it victorious. Yes. She called it victorious. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't shit. That's what she said. That is correct. I don't give a fuck if she has been shot at this point. Tell you the truth. I really don't. Because she told a lie. And it undermines every fucking thing that lady knew to be true. That lady came over here and bold-faced lied in front of the community. You got journalists out here that are literally tapped into the community and you want to come over here and lie. I believe that lady. I don't believe that lady that got her car snatched. I'm telling you, I don't believe her.
And I'm not going to go that far because I don't know. That part, I don't know.
That lady said, no shots was fired.
That was two different stories.
Did she say that?
Some of the stories were the same, and a lot of the stories was different. It was very, and everybody is standing down here.
So it seems to be some discrepancy with what happened here in Burnsville, Minnesota, ladies and gentlemen. These people are talking about it now. There's some contradicting issues going on. Let's check it out.
It has to match. You know what I mean? The story has to match. And to me, the story did not match.
That lady, what really got me, I asked her, I said, were you here when the individual, the now deceased individual was shot? That lady said yes.
She said yes. And that's a lie.
That was a lie.
Yes, she got it right. Right, so there's no way she could have been here at this scene when this woman was shot.
That's why I'm like, were you following the guy?
Because that's her car. So she got a ride.
Exactly. Like, come on, man.
I don't know. Anyways, all those announcements.
I apologize about the profane language to anybody that's listening.
I've
been getting a lot of text messages coming from your feed talking about my profane language. I apologize, but please understand that lady providing some false information.
People are dying by the hands of the police. Fuck the language. Fuck the language.
And that gentleman is speaking about the ex-police officer who was supposedly on the bad end of a carjacking. So there is some discrepancy and some controversy about what happened here in Burnsville, Minnesota. This is live. This just happened maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. I did it earlier, about 2 hours ago, and I'm here to follow up on it again.
Crimes would have been done, by I guess my point is we've seen too many videos. And yes, this young man we heard was a white male, 20s, in his 20s or whatever. My point is, for some reason, they know how to apprehend when a white woman is charging the police, whether it's with a gun or a knife. Like, you know how to do that person or take that person down without having to kill them, right? Because we see too many videos. We see it happening all the time. So, I don't condone them killing this man. Like, I did their version of the story, but it's the same thing all the time. I don't have an answer. I'm not an officer. I can't sit here and say not to shoot the guy or shoot the guy. You know what I mean? Like, I would never be a fucking cop because you gotta make that decision. It's a shitty job to have where you have to decide whether you're gonna shoot somebody or not, right? So, me personally, it's the same shit. We see video after video where black men are unarmed and they're dying by the hands of the police. So in this situation, he happens to be a white male, and he happens to shoot at somebody. So that their answer is to kill him, and I think that's bullshit. Like, figure out another way to do it. That's just me personally, and I don't care about the language. Like, I don't give a fuck. People are dying out here. Not against the police, and I apologize to you, Georgia, but people are dying out here. People are dying out here, and we're tired of doing this here in Minnesota, in the middle of a trial, and behind Dante Wright a week ago. We are tired of the shit. That's just me. I don't have any other answers. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. It pisses me off, but whatever. And I know other people are pissed off too. So, I don't know, Georgia.
Well, thank you for sharing your perspective. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, I'm good. I'm here to control the police. See that? That's all I'm listening. That's all I got. That's all I got. Thank you, Georgia.
Just heard their community member advocating for community control of the police. I definitely see Selena out at several of the protests, as well as responding to crime scenes like this when people are killed by police.
So we are back out here live again on the scene of an officer-involved shooting in Burnsville, Minnesota. At this time, we do not know the condition of the deceased. Of the victim's condition at this time. But what we do know is that there has been, as you can see, many vehicles, police vehicles are out here. Many independent media are out here as well. At this time, we don't have any idea of the condition of the alleged victim in this case.
So you have a gentleman out here protesting by himself. This is questioning the officers on what exactly happened. Shout outs to Jeffrey Young, who's a white male and he is deceased. Shout out to Mike Jones. Shout out to Derek Cunningham. Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at murder scene interaction of a white male who tried to carjack an ex-police officer. Interaction with a white male who tried to carjack an ex-police officer. The street report, it said that what the ex-police officer mentioned is conflicting with what she said to police. Something about no shots being fired. People are out there protesting against the situation. They have an issue with the aggressiveness of the police officers, which ended in this man's death. Seems like another procedural issue going on here with police officers. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Burnsville, Minnesota. Burnsville, Minnesota. Child's Lion 1, Mr. Bloody Wolf Guy, Spooky Press on Freddy.
And it is starting to rain. Somebody has a gun, is what they said. Yeah, yep, he's still there. They were asking you guys for help. She said somebody up there has a gun, and they wanted you guys to, like, somebody to go help.
There's someone responding to help them.
Oh, there's somebody responding. Do you know how long till they get here? So you know, not even one person can go and make sure that the community's safe? Wow. Not even one? That is an interesting rule. Wow. Okay. That doesn't make sense. Well, I'm glad that I left from over there because I didn't feel safe. And I kind of feel bad for the people who stayed up there because even though there's about 4 dozen police vehicles here, none of them can go assist the community that is being threatened.
Burnsville, Minnesota.
So yeah, now about one cop has a gun.
Like, who the fuck is that really protecting the circuit? The top over there at that point up there just said gun. And we got kids up there. And we ain't got no gun. If anybody would have swung on one of their white boys up there, then what? Then y'all would turn around and make the head think that we was their side rights and all this other shit. Do y'all fucking job for everyone! Fuck, well.
This officer here says that somebody is up there now.
We have officers.
So very tempting here that this continues to get tenser. It feels like the tension is growing. So I guess that one could come up here. See. There's not much development at the crime scene there either. It has remained very consistent.
Make sure y'all share this, y'all. This is live out of Burnsville, Minnesota. Another police killing.
So now we're seeing all of these responding officers leave out. She got on a sweater.
Man just cleared the parking lot out. He told the police to leave. They getting in their cruisers and they rolling out. Blue Bloods roll out.
Why? So she can beat my ass because I don't agree with you? Why?
Because you don't get it.
What? Okay, explain to me. What am I doing? What's your argument? My argument is that it's not to you. What's your argument? My argument is that if I need the police, right, I'm gonna call them to protect me, right? Okay, hold on. I'm talking. We're having a good.
Shout out to Monica Daniels, anonymous Newfoundland.
Okay, and I'm granddaughter.
And so am I.
Okay.
Daughter and granddaughter.
Okay.
And so what's your story? What's your argument?
My argument is that if I were the person in that car that was getting pulled over or trying to get my car stolen at gunpoint, right? What would you do? What would you do in this situation? I'm not giving you no story. Okay, my situation is I wouldn't be afraid of the police to come and defend me. That's the first person I'm gonna call. It's the police. Okay. Right,
I never call you motherfucker.
what?
Shut down the 911. Shut down the 911.
Then go ahead. You do you. I feel.
I am never calling them. They ain't just saying. Hey, yo, Pete, I'm not even mad at you. I got one question for you. When you call the police, why you call the police? They kill you.
You know what?
No.
Live out of Burnsville, Minnesota. Make sure y'all share this. Get this out. Another police killing. Get this out there. Share it right now. It's the resistance.
When you call police, do they kill you when they show up? Let her answer.
Did they kill you?
I never called them. Yes, they answer the question.
No.
Wait, stop.
They called me and my family when I did that.
Answer the right question. Answer the right question.
Shout out Stephen Mazur. Live, Burnsville, Minnesota. Another police-involved shooting of a white male who was murdered by police officers after an attempted carjack of an ex-police officer. The street report is that the testament of the ex-officer who was carjacked, her story is conflicting. That's the street report amongst these people out here talking that was mentioned earlier. Now there's an argument amongst who was right and who was wrong. It's the resistance.
He's white. What does that mean?
Maybe not for Christina.
What does that mean? I asked the question, so please answer. Please answer.
Because Black Lives Matter out here
That's right.
that a white man got
That's
shot.
right. That's right.
Okay. So now we're out here about police brutality, right? So why is it coming in black and white? Because I'm white. I was shot.
That's the fucking problem, bro.
I don't know why. No, I didn't
You
know.
really had that to the police officer. When you were telling us, I thought you
I didn't know. I said I forever will.
She just admitted out her own mouth she's there to back the police.
Why is she behind the table? They want you behind the table. I'm in charge of it every day. But you like the food, right? I like the food. Well, I can't legally go over there. So as long as I follow the law, I'm in good way. Even if you follow the law, let's be white. How do you know what it is? You don't know. I'm so and I get more racist than probably than I get. That's right.
Shout out to Tuffy McTufferson.
No, have you ever been called out these days and told me go back to your motherfucking country? Yeah. Okay, well I have to. I'm a minority, just like everyone here. But I respect the law, and I don't know that you
Make sure y'all share this, ladies and gentlemen. This is out of Burnsville, Minnesota. This controversy right here is because of a white male being killed by Minnesota police once again. Street report says it's a situation that policy had to be broken. Policy was broken in the commission of killing this man. That's the street report. It hasn't been confirmed.
What the fuck is going on over here? So we about to dismiss you, baby girl. No disrespect to you. We about to dismiss you. We about to dismiss you. No disrespect to you, but everybody, you took their attention away from where it need to be. So we about to do that over here.
What I will say is it is extremely odd that there have been 3 people on the scene willing to engage everybody. I have responded to a lot of different crime scenes throughout my career, and I will say I've never heard a victim willing to do a whole press conference along with another eyewitness and then another individual on scene who includes the entire community. So this is definitely very, very different. But at the same time, I will say that individuals are on high alert and very overwhelmed and stressed due to the fact that, Dante Wright was killed 7 days ago. The verdict for the Derek Chauvin trial is expected to come in this week.
Shout out Spooky Press on Free. My man.
Wait. Oh, right here. Yeah.
So they raised that so they can watch what was going on up there on the boulevard. That's how good those cameras are in that. They put that up and they're watching everything that just happened.
So we were just informed from Black Lives Media that this white van that you see here has cameras on it and was raised up high enough where it was able to see what was happening in the parking lot as that entire confrontation was happening. We're seeing law enforcement here now gather in the back of this.
We are back out here live again.
then the individuals who were here were asking whether or not one of the older white men who was here had a gun. And he said he did. And so at that time, some of the individuals who are here requested that that person leave, that they didn't feel safe, that there are kids here, that he shouldn't have a gun. And so that's kind of where the confrontation in the parking lot started. At that time, I actually moved away. And when I came down here, there were a few individuals who followed and were asking these officers to come and assist. And they all said that they could not leave their post, despite that many of them are standing around, that their duty is within this perimeter and they cannot leave. They said that they had called somebody else to respond. We saw 3 or 4 police vehicles show up. They did not stay on the scene long, especially after the woman with the back of blue hoodie, started engaging individuals who are here, trying to find out what happened, trying to make sure that this individual here who was accused of carjacking, that's actually what happened. So it's a very tense time in Minnesota, as you guys can imagine. Today marks.
Shout out to Anonymous Newfoundland.
Dante Wright was killed by police in Brooklyn Center in a much, much different situation than this one here. Again, tomorrow we're expecting closing arguments in the Derek Chauvin trial, and then anticipating a verdict sometime, hopefully this week. So,
live out of Burnsville, Minnesota, ladies and gentlemen, another officer-involved shooting. White male has been killed, attempted to carjack an ex-police officer. Street report says that what the ex-police officer said is conflicting to what she told police. She said 2 things. She said that she didn't hear shots fired. Shots fired was what she told police, I believe, and I guess that prompted them to use excessive force to kill this person. But people are in an uproar out here. They're having issues with if police broke procedure and if there was any reason to kill this man.
Back up, boy, because I gotta get running. So I was trying to show you guys there before he just popped back up that there was someone taking photos of evidence, but they have since moved, so we kind of missed that. Let me see if we can see. I think it's hard to see that as far as it zooms in. But yeah, there was. I was trying to show you guys before. Judge Alexander Ford actually walked up, who you guys have seen engaging with the woman who identified herself as the victim, and also was engaging the individual on the scene who had a gun. Now look, the victim, the woman who identified herself as a victim, was put in this vehicle. I did not see her taken back out of that vehicle. It looks like if she's still in that vehicle, she is now being escorted out. We also saw that the witness, or the woman who was identified as the witness, went under the crime scene tape as well with the 6-year-old goddaughter. Well, one thing I'll say too, if you guys are just tuning in, is that the woman who identified herself as a victim also said that she was a former law enforcement officer for the city of Detroit. She did not really share any other evidence. Okay, but we can see, I was going to say she didn't share any other details. Okay, you can see here, this is what I was trying to show you guys earlier. You see there's an investigator here that is collecting photograph evidence of this scene. It looks like now at this time he is photographing what might be the responding police vehicle. Definitely hard to say from this far away, but yeah, he's definitely taking pictures. And now think about this, you guys. If you've been following along too with the Derek Chauvin trial, think about how many photographs were presented I think it was in the final week of the prosecution's witnesses. There was a few like forensic scientists and just different people from the BCA who had responded to the scene, and they showed a lot of photographs of the police vehicles. They showed a lot of photographs of George Floyd's vehicle, and so this is
Shout out Stop Injustice, Manuel Ferreira, Just Me.
Individual turned sideways a little bit. You could kind of see the back of his coat. It looked like it may have said BCA, but now the sign is in the way, so you can't see there. But yes, so it's been a few hours now since we received reports that an individual was killed by the Burnsville Police Department. And, since arriving on the scene, I've seen City of Egan, City of Savage, City of St. Paul squad cars on the scene, as well as the BCA.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Live out of Burnsville, Minnesota, another officer involved shooting. A white male was killed. Reports is that he tried to carjack a former police officer from out of Detroit. She works from out of Detroit. But this happened in Burnsville, Minnesota. The male is dead. There's a situation going on with the locals. They feel as though that police didn't follow procedure and that the lady's testimony to the cops was contradicting to what she said prior.
No, it's really challenging to anticipate also like how long the BCA stays on the scene. Sometimes it's just, a few hours. Sometimes it can be 8 to 12 hours. So hard to say also how long they're going to be here at the scene, investigating, collecting evidence. But I will say that it has been a challenging week to cover each and everything that has happened across the city. But I have been doing my best to
shout out to E-Love is Real.
But with
make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Live out of Burnsville, Minnesota.
With the trial, it's definitely a lot. Tomorrow, we know that closing arguments will begin in the Derek Chauvin trial. And I will be there covering that. That starts at 9 a.m. And we don't have any idea exactly how long closing arguments will last. But we will be live the entire time. You guys, I just dropped the link in the chat. If you guys are able to support the work that I'm doing, I am out here.
Shout outs Wolfie Gladly.
It can be very challenging to get the resources to provide you guys with high quality streams. I'm actually going to set this umbrella down now because it's not raining as much. Yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm getting ready to wrap things up. Again, if you guys are just tuning in, a quick summary. I'm here on the scene in Burnsville, Minnesota, right on Highway 13, where it intersects with 35W. And so we did receive some reports that there was a fatal officer shooting. That individual was accused of carjacking. That individual was also accused of shooting at the police first. I'm working to confirm that information. We did hear from a woman today who identified herself as the victim in this situation. She said it was her vehicle that was stolen while she was dining out at TGI Fridays with her, I believe she said 6-year-old goddaughter for her birthday. And so she said that as a former law enforcement officer who worked for Detroit, she felt like the use of force was justified. However, we've heard from dozens of community members advocating for community control of the police and other similar reform strategies for policing that say they don't feel like the use of force is justified. They feel like if a person is accused of a crime, that they should be, given their day in court. And so that's a summary of what we've seen here. I'm getting ready to bring the stream down. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you're able to support the work that I'm doing, you can become a monthly supporter right here on Facebook if you look below, or you can head over to my website, jordanford.com. Thank you so much for watching.
It's a very psychological thing that's happening here.